Listen to me. There are a lot of people walking around today wondering why they're being taken for granted. They're giving their time, their energy, their loyalty, their love, and somehow they're getting less and less in return. They keep showing up. They keep making sacrifices. They keep putting somebody else's needs ahead of their own. And then one day they wake up and realize something painful. The person they're doing everything for has stopped appreciating them. Now let me tell you something. Being taken for granted doesn't happen because you don't have value. It happens because somewhere along the way, somebody got comfortable. They got used to your kindness. They got used to your forgiveness. They got used to your availability. They got so accustomed to having you around that they forgot what life looked like before you showed up. And when people get too comfortable, they sometimes stop treating blessings like blessings. But today, we're going to talk about something powerful. We're going to talk about how to teach someone the cost of taking you for granted, not through anger, not through revenge, and not through games. We're going to talk about the kind of lesson that changes everything. The lesson that comes when you stop chasing appreciation and start recognizing your own worth. Because here's the truth. The moment you begin respecting yourself, protecting your peace, and valuing your own time, people start seeing you differently. And even if they don't, your life still gets better. This message is for the person who's tired of being overlooked. It's for the person who's tired of giving more than they're receiving. It's for the person who's finally ready to stop settling for crumbs when they deserve the whole meal. So if you've ever felt ignored, undervalued, or taken for granted, stay with me. Because by the end of this message, you'll understand that your greatest power isn't making someone realize your value. Your greatest power is realizing it yourself. One of the most important lessons you can learn in life is that your presence has value. Not just your money, not just your appearance, not just what you can do for other people. Your presence itself has value. The energy you bring into a room, the support you offer during difficult times, the loyalty you show when things get tough, and the love you give when someone needs it most. Those things are valuable. Yet many people spend years forgetting this truth. They become so focused on making others happy that they stop recognizing their own worth. The problem begins when you start believing that your value comes from how much you sacrifice. You think that if you give more, love more, forgive more, and tolerate more, people will eventually appreciate you. But life doesn't always work that way. In fact, the opposite often happens. The more available you become without limits, the more people begin to expect your presence instead of appreciating it. Think about it for a moment. When someone knows you will always answer immediately, they stop valuing your time. When they know you will always forgive them, they stop being careful with your feelings. When they know you will always stay, no matter what they do, they stop respecting the effort required to keep you in their life. It's not because they are necessarily bad people. Sometimes human nature causes people to become comfortable with what is constantly available. That's why understanding your value is so important. Your kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. Your loyalty should never become permission for someone to neglect you. Your love should never mean accepting less than you deserve. Many people are afraid of stepping back because they think it will make them seem selfish. They worry that putting themselves first will push others away. But there's a huge difference between being selfish and having self-respect. Selfishness says, only my needs matter. Self-respect says, my needs matter too. For too long, some people spend their lives proving their value to others instead of recognizing it for themselves. They chase validation. They wait for appreciation. They hope someone will finally notice everything they do. But confidence doesn't come from being noticed. Confidence comes from knowing your worth even when nobody is applauding. When you truly understand your value, something powerful begins to happen. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop chasing people who are pulling away. You stop trying to convince someone to appreciate you. Instead, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. You realize that your worth isn't determined by someone's ability to recognize it. Imagine carrying a diamond in your pocket. If you show that diamond to someone who doesn't understand its value, they might treat it like an ordinary rock. Their opinion doesn't change what the diamond is worth. It remains valuable whether they recognize it or not. The same principle applies to you. Someone's inability to appreciate you does not decrease your value. One of the strongest things you can do is stop making your entire life revolve around another person. Continue building your goals. Continue developing your skills. Continue nurturing your friendships. Continue creating a life that makes you proud. A person who values themselves doesn't abandon their dreams to gain someone else's attention. People often notice your value most when they can no longer take it for granted. When you're constantly available, your efforts become invisible. But when you start respecting your own time, protecting your energy, and investing in yourself, people begin to recognize the difference. They realize what your presence contributed to their life. This doesn't mean you should play games or intentionally try to make someone miss you. The goal isn't manipulation. The goal is authenticity. The goal is creating a life where your happiness doesn't depend entirely on another person's choices. That's real power. There comes a moment when you must decide whether you're going to spend your life begging for appreciation or living in a way that naturally commands respect. The first path leads to frustration. The second path leads to freedom. The truth is that valuable people don't spend all their time proving they are valuable. They know who they are. They understand what they bring to the table. They recognize their strengths, their character, and their contributions. Because of that, they don't panic when someone fails to appreciate them. They don't collapse when someone overlooks them. They simply continue walking forward with confidence. And here's what often happens. The moment you stop desperately seeking validation, people start noticing you differently. The moment you stop settling for less than you deserve, people begin treating you differently. The moment you realize your presence is a gift and not an obligation, everything changes. Remember this, you are not valuable because someone chooses you. You are valuable because of who you are. Your character has value. Your integrity has value. Your kindness has value. Your wisdom has value. Your time has value. Your presence has value. Never forget that, because the day you truly understand your worth is the day you stop allowing anyone to treat you as if you're ordinary when you've been bringing something extraordinary into their life all along. One of the greatest misunderstandings people have about love is believing that love alone is enough to create respect. The truth is, love and respect are not the same thing. You can love someone deeply and still allow them to cross your boundaries. You can care about someone with all your heart and still find yourself being taken for granted. That's why boundaries are so important. Boundaries are not walls designed to keep people out. They are standards that teach people how to treat you. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear conflict. They worry that saying no will upset someone. They worry that expressing their needs will make them seem difficult. They worry that standing up for themselves will push people away. As a result, they stay silent when something bothers them. They tolerate behavior they dislike. They accept treatment that hurts them. Over time, resentment begins to grow because they are sacrificing their own peace to avoid disappointing others. The problem with having no boundaries is that people often assume what you allow is what you accept. If someone repeatedly ignores your feelings and there are no consequences, they may start believing that behavior is acceptable. If someone constantly disrespects your time and you continue adjusting your life around them, they may assume your time is invaluable. Not because they intentionally want to hurt you, but because human beings learn from patterns. Every relationship, whether romantic, family, friendship, or professional, is shaped by what people consistently tolerate and what they consistently refuse to tolerate. Your boundaries communicate your standards without you having to give a long speech. They send a message that says, "This is how I expect to be treated, and this is what I will no longer accept." Too many people think boundaries are about controlling others. They're not. You cannot control another person's behavior. You cannot force someone to respect you. What you can control is your response. Boundaries are about deciding what you will do when someone crosses a line. They are about protecting your emotional well-being rather than trying to manage someone else's choices. For example, if someone constantly cancels plans at the last minute, a boundary is not demanding that they never cancel again. A boundary is deciding that you will stop rearranging your entire schedule for someone who doesn't respect your time. If someone repeatedly speaks to you disrespectfully, a boundary is not forcing them to change. A boundary is choosing not to engage in conversations where you are treated poorly. One reason boundaries feel uncomfortable at first is because they often change existing dynamics. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not immediately like the new version of you. They may accuse you of changing. They may say you're being distant. They may act surprised when you no longer accept behavior that you've tolerated for years. But here's something important to remember. Growth often makes people uncomfortable, especially those who were comfortable with your old limitations. Their reaction does not mean your boundary is wrong. Sometimes it means your boundary is working. Respect grows when people understand that access to you comes with responsibility. When people know that your kindness does not mean endless tolerance, they begin treating your presence differently. They understand that your time matters, your feelings matter, your standards matter. Healthy boundaries also strengthen your self-confidence. Every time you honor your own limits, you send a message to yourself that your needs are important. You stop abandoning yourself for the sake of keeping everyone else comfortable. You start building trust with yourself, and that trust becomes the foundation of genuine confidence. There's also a powerful connection between boundaries and self-worth. People who know their value understand that they don't have to earn basic respect. They don't believe they must suffer endlessly to prove their loyalty. They recognize that healthy relationships involve mutual consideration, not one-sided sacrifice. Many individuals spend years hoping someone will change. They keep giving second chances, third chances, and 10th chances while ignoring the reality in front of them. Boundaries force you to stop focusing on promises and start paying attention to patterns. They help you evaluate relationships based on consistent behavior rather than temporary words. The strongest boundaries are often the quietest ones. They don't require threats, arguments, or dramatic announcements. They are demonstrated through actions. They are shown when you walk away from disrespect. They are shown when you protect your peace. They are shown when you refuse to settle for treatment that undermines your dignity. What makes boundaries powerful is that they reveal truth. They reveal who respects your limits and who only values your compliance. They reveal who genuinely cares about your well-being and who only enjoys the benefits of having access to you. Sometimes that truth is difficult to face, but it is necessary for growth. At the end of the day, boundaries are not about punishment. They are about preservation. They preserve your confidence, your emotional health, your peace of mind, and your sense of self. They remind you that love should never require abandoning your own needs. They teach others how to treat you, but even more importantly, they teach you how to treat yourself. And when you begin setting healthy boundaries, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing respect because you start living in a way that naturally attracts it. You stop feeling powerless because you recognize that you always have a choice. You stop teaching people that they can take you for granted, and you start teaching them that your presence, your time, and your heart are valuable things that deserve care. That is when respect stops being something you ask for and becomes something you expect. And that expectation changes everything. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they feel unappreciated is believing that if they just explain their pain one more time, the other person will finally understand. They think another conversation will create change. Another argument will create awareness. Another emotional message will suddenly make someone see what they've been refusing to see all along. Now, don't misunderstand me. Communication matters. Honest conversations are important in every healthy relationship. But there comes a point where words stop being effective if they are not followed by action. You can explain your feelings 100 times, but if your behavior never changes, the other person learns that nothing will happen regardless of how they treat you. This is why actions speak louder than complaints. Many people find themselves trapped in a cycle. They get hurt, they speak up, they receive an apology, things improve for a few days, and then everything returns to the way it was before. The pattern repeats over and over again. Eventually, they become frustrated because they feel unheard. The truth is that people pay close attention to what you do, even more than what you say. Your actions reveal your standards. Your actions reveal what you truly believe you deserve. Your actions reveal whether your words carry weight. Imagine someone repeatedly arrives late every time you make plans. You tell them it bothers you. They apologize. Then they do it again. You tell them once more. They apologize again. Months pass and nothing changes. At some point, the issue is no longer whether they understand your frustration. They probably do understand. The issue is that your response has never changed. Human beings often adjust their behavior when they encounter consistent consequences. Not punishment, not revenge, consequences. There's a difference. Punishment is about making someone suffer. Consequences are about protecting your own well-being. When someone learns that they can continue disrespecting your time, your feelings, or your effort without losing access to you, they have little motivation to change. But when they see that your actions now align with your words, the situation becomes different. That's why real power isn't found in endless explanations. It's found in alignment. Alignment means your behavior matches your standards. If you say you deserve respect, your actions should reflect that belief. If you say your time is valuable, your actions should reflect that belief. If you say you won't tolerate being taken for granted, your actions should reflect that belief. Too often, people unknowingly send mixed messages. They say one thing, but do another. They tell someone they are tired of being treated poorly, yet they continue accepting the same behavior without change. Over time, their words lose impact because their actions tell a different story. The strongest message you can send isn't spoken. It's lived. When you stop chasing someone who continually pulls away, that's a message. When you stop overextending yourself for someone who never reciprocates, that's a message. When you invest your energy into your own growth instead of constantly trying to convince someone of your worth, that's a message. And the beautiful thing about actions is that they don't require permission. You don't need someone else's approval to start valuing yourself. You don't need a committee meeting. You don't need an argument. You simply make different choices. One reason people struggle with this is because action requires courage. Complaining can feel safer. Complaining allows us to release frustration while remaining in the same situation. Action requires change. Action forces us to face uncertainty. Action means we might have to let go of relationships, habits, or expectations that no longer serve us. But growth has always required courage. Think about how much energy people waste trying to convince others to appreciate them. They send long messages. They explain their sacrifices. They remind people of everything they've done. They hope that if they can just find the right words, appreciation will magically appear. Yet the people who command the most respect often aren't the ones constantly talking about their value. They're the ones who live as though they understand it. Their confidence is visible. Their standards are visible. Their self-respect is visible. And because it's visible, people respond differently to them. This doesn't mean becoming cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable. It doesn't mean treating people badly because they treated you badly. That's not strength, that's reaction. Real strength is maintaining your character while refusing to abandon your standards. You can remain kind while becoming firm. You can remain compassionate while setting limits. You can remain loving while choosing yourself. Some of the most powerful changes happen quietly. Nobody sees the moment you decide to stop settling. Nobody hears the conversation you have with yourself when you decide you deserve better. Nobody witnesses the internal shift that occurs when you stop seeking validation and start creating it from within. But eventually, everyone sees the results. They see a person who no longer tolerates disrespect. They see a person who values their own time. They see a person who isn't desperate for approval. They see a person who walks with confidence because their actions support their beliefs. And here's what often surprises people. When you stop focusing on changing others and start focusing on changing yourself, everything around you begins to change. Some people rise to meet your standards. Others drift away. Either way, you gain clarity. You discover who truly respects you and who only appreciated your willingness to tolerate poor treatment. The lesson is simple but powerful. Don't spend your life repeating the same complaint while accepting the same behavior. Don't expect different results from the same patterns. Let your actions communicate what your words have been trying to say. Because at the end of the day, people may forget your speeches. They may ignore your warnings. They may dismiss your complaints, but they cannot